Okay, at this time, I think we'd like to go ahead and get started. I'd like to say welcome and thank you very much for joining us this morning. Just a couple housekeeping matters to go over at the beginning here. Please go ahead and make sure that you are on mute when you're not speaking. That would be greatly appreciated. We are going to be taking questions, and what we'd like to do as far as that goes is if you have a question throughout this press conference, please go ahead and type your question in the chat, and then we will take them after our speakers have presented. Please do use the chat as opposed to the Q&A, just so that they're all kind of centralized in one place, and so we can be sure to address them all. And like I said, we will get to questions after our speakers have a chance to do their brief presentation. So to start out, I guess the question is, what brings us here today? And what brings us here today is that we would like to spend some time sharing with you why we feel that it is so very important for Governor Reynolds to sign HF 369 currently into law. It is currently sitting on her desk, and so we'd just like to share our thoughts as to why we feel she needs to go ahead and sign it. As a way of introduction, my name is Meghan Sloma. By training, I am a realtor and an attorney. I'm also a fourth generation part owner of a century farm in Sioux County. So on multiple levels, according to many of the hats that I wear, I am interested in this issue and I am interested in this bill. As kind of a starting place, we're all familiar with the fact that our Iowa motto is our liberties we prize and our rights we will maintain. So for the past 4 years, a group of landowners has been working very hard to protect both their right and liberty to own land and determine what happens on it. Many of whom are with us here today, and 3 of whom you will hear from. So if you are one of those landowners, just go ahead, you don't need to unmute or anything, just raise your hand and just say that you are in agreement that Governor Reynolds needs to sign HF 369. Let's see those waves and that sea of red. So you will notice that they are wearing red. Red means rights. Red means that we are fighting for our property rights. So before I go ahead and turn it over to our other speakers, I want to give a very, very specific example of how HF 369 will help protect property rights and uphold due process. As an attorney, those are both things that are very, very important to me. The rule of law, protecting due process, all of that. So I am basically a neighbor to the proposed CO2 pipeline. It is not directly on my land, but it is right across the fence. So because of that, I was denied the opportunity to testify at the hearing before the IUC in Fort Dodge regarding this issue. HF 369 would have allowed parties such as myself who are very, very much affected, but were denied the opportunity to participate in that hearing. It would afford us the opportunity to do so. So I think that's very important, that the right that I have for my voice to be heard regarding what happens to my land, that it be protected. To me, it is just basic fairness and equality. Another thing that I want to just highlight is the CO2 pipeline project brought up the need for such legislation. It brought up the need to have HF 369 passed, but this is not a bill that is anti-progress, anti-pipeline, or anything like that. So I would firmly ask Governor Reynolds to stand behind our state motto and to sign HF 369. So at this point, I'm going to pass it off to our other landowners. We have Marty with us, and I would like to invite him to share with you.
Hello, Marty Mayher from Page County, Iowa. Governor Reynolds, as a farmer in Southwest Iowa and an affected landowner, I'm asking you today to sign into law HF 639 that was passed by the Iowa legislature earlier this month. There have been efforts for 4 years to get the state of Iowa to recognize property rights of Iowans, and finally it has reached your desk. The purpose of eminent domain is for the government to take private property for public use. This is the appropriate use of this right. I'm a Republican, and I'm on the Central Committee of my county Republican Party. Our county platform, as do many other county GOP platforms, oppose the use of eminent domain to grant property use to private companies for private gain. The platform of the Republican Party of Iowa opposes, quote, the use of eminent domain to take private property away from the owner for the use of another private party or for-profit entity. They even reaffirmed that plank on May the 21st of 2025. As far back as 2020, this item was in the Republican Party platform of Iowa. Do party platforms mean anything to the elected Republican officials? Or are platforms just feel-good projects for the party faithful? Signing HF639 does not stop any pipeline project now or in the future. If a company wishes to take my land against my will, they should present clear and convincing evidence that the company is a common carrier. HF639 provides a reasonable process for the use of eminent domain. HF639 essentially levels the playing field between the landowner, affected neighbors, and the Iowa Utilities Commission. All three entities have an interest in a fair and just process, and this bill advances that process. Several years ago, the Des Moines Register polled Iowans about the use of eminent domain for private entity use. Over 78% of Iowans oppose the idea. Governor Reynolds, you have a decision to make about signing HF 639 into law. Iowans want this law, or else the legislature would not have passed it and sent it to you for your signature. You have been a very successful governor for the state of Iowa. You have signed many laws that have far-reaching effects into the future. HF 639 is also one of these laws that sets a course for the future. I am sure that you want to be remembered as the governor that supported common sense property rights in Iowa and leveled the playing field for all residents in the state for many years to come. Please sign HF 639 into law. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Marty. We really appreciate those remarks. We're going to go on location now to Jeff. He is out in the field. Jeff, over to you.
Okay, you can hear me now. Good morning, everyone. As I come to you from a cab of my sprayer here, I operate a fourth generation family farm in Butler and Bremer County here in Northeast Iowa. Farming is my family's passion and is all we know. We love this land that the good Lord has entrusted us with. Governor Reynolds, as a fellow conservative, I've been a strong supporter and appreciate your leadership in Iowa. Because you believe in property and individual rights, I urge you to sign House File 639 to provide fairness, to balance landowners' rights, and provide a clear avenue for major projects in our state. And Governor, I remember you coining a state logo, Iowa, freedom to flourish. Let's look at that word freedom. True freedom allows us to make responsible choices guided by values and purpose. We as farmers, caretakers of this beautiful land, need you to protect our freedoms. And you can do that today by signing House File 639. 639 does not stop any projects, not now or in the future. What it does do is provide a level playing field for we the people and strengthens landowner rights as provided for in our Constitution. Governor Reynolds, please do the right thing and sign House File 639 today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate that. We're going to go to Mary now for her remarks.
Hi, my name is Mary, and I am an impacted Shelby County landowner. Our farm is a Century Farm. We just received that award last year, and my mom, who was 103 at the time, now 104, actually traveled with us to Des Moines to receive that award. So the pride in our land is immense. Landowners' rights right now are at stake. House File 639 offers landowners some protection from having their land taken from them by eminent domain for a company's private gain and use. But it also provides some protection in the form of insurance coverage. It helps promote due process by enabling landowners to be heard. It requires members of the Iowa Utilities Commission to be present during hearings, and it helps level the playing field for Iowa landowners. House File 639 provides some protection of our right to have control over our land, our Century Farm, our family's legacy. I remember listening to Governor Reynolds' televised Republican response to the State of the Union address on March 2nd, 2022. It was so refreshing to hear Governor Reynolds quote the Iowa model: "Our liberties we prize and our rights we will maintain." Governor Reynolds stated this is a belief, not empty words. As Governor Reynolds continued her State of the Union address, she stated that Americans are not in support of giving billions of dollars in tax giveaways to millionaires and billionaires. Governor Reynolds went on to say that Americans should not have to wake up every morning and worry about the next thing the government is going to do to you, your business, or your children. Governor Reynolds' words brought a sense of hope to the state of Iowa at that time. Governor Reynolds' words let Iowans know that she was striving to be a governor for the people, a governor who wanted to protect the rights of Iowans. The issue at hand is not a partisan issue. It's not about Democrats or Republicans or who has the most money to push through their private agenda for private gain. It's about taking a stand and protecting the rights of Iowans. It's about holding the pipeline companies and those in public office accountable. House File 639 is a reasonable, common sense bill that helps protect the rights of Iowans to have control over their land. While Governor Reynolds' Republican response to the State of Union address indicated her support for the Iowa model and the rights of Iowans, we all know that actions speak louder than words. Like many Iowans, I appreciate Governor Reynolds stating the Iowa motto is a belief and not empty words, but Iowans need action. We need Governor Reynolds to sign 639 into law. After 4 years of talking with and working with senators and representatives, they finally passed House File 639 and sent the bill to the governor to sign. By signing House File 639 into law, Governor Reynolds, you will leave your own legacy, showing that you truly were a governor who cared for the people of Iowa and that you were true to your words, ensuring that Iowa's rights are maintained. I want to thank you and my fellow Iowa landowners on this journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary. We appreciate that. I'd like to remind you, if you have a question, go ahead and put it in the chat. I am not seeing any questions in the chat at this time, but I do see it looks like 2 attendees with their hands raised. I believe I see KCCI. Was there somebody from KCCI that would like to ask a question? You can come off mute if so. Was there somebody from KCCI? I believe you're still on mute. Or somebody named Gary has a hand raised. Did you have a question while we wait for someone to come in the chat? I see Bev with her hand raised too. Did Bev have a question? I believe I see a couple questions regarding if anyone in our group was in the meeting with Governor Reynolds last night, and if they would like to give kind of a brief rundown of that. I don't believe any of the panelists were. If somebody who was there, Cindy Hansen, were you there with the governor? Do you just want to give us a brief synopsis? I think they're asking basically, what was your impression? And what was your takeaway from the meeting?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear
Okay.
you.
So yes, I was in the meeting with the governor. There were 6 of us landowners that met with her. She did not ask any questions. She just was there to listen. Her 2 attorneys from the governor's office, they had probably asked less than a half dozen questions. And her ag advisor did not ask any questions. They were mainly there to listen to what we had to say. And they did inform us ahead of time before the meeting, actually before we started talking, that they would be meeting with all parties involved, that she wanted to hear our side of the story and go from there, to help her make her decision. So she really did not have any comments or questions for us. The meeting was scheduled to go 45 minutes. We did go 70 minutes. And that was at her suggestion that we keep talking. So I don't know how you want to interpret that.
Thank you very much, Cindy. We appreciate that. Any other questions for the chat? Or I see that we still have a hand raised by KCCI. If you want to come off mute. If you think of any questions later on, my phone number was in the media advisory that we sent out. I'm also going to give you my email. I will put that in the chat right now. So if you have any questions, I would be happy to put you in touch with our panelists. If you have a question directly for one of them, or like I said, if you go back to your office and are kind of thinking about this and something comes to you, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'll kind of point you in the direction and get you to the right person. So last call for questions. Otherwise, thank you so much again for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend. I think the weather is going to be awesome. So get out and enjoy it. And thank you for listening to us today.